I've already spent over 60 hours on NTE, be it on a CBT or an early access version. And here's my tier list based on my testing for global launch. Let's go straight to the best characters in NTE. And the first character that fits into this tier would be Nanali. She is probably the highest damage DPS character in the game right now, and even though I cannot say anything about Hotori yet, I am pretty sure that Hotori will boost her damage or in general her best install team by quite a bit. Nanali's raw damage is just insane. While she has insane single target damage output, she also has great AoE damage with her ult and her E. Also, the follow-up attack of her ult is just a really strong mechanic, and that is why she's one of the best characters in the game as of right now. Just a quick reminder, don't forget to like and follow, it means a lot to me, but let's go on with the video. Normally, that would be it for this tier on 0 dupes, but there are some characters that get a crazy amount of boost in her strength once they have 1 dupe. Of course, one of them is Shiz. Since we get her for free with all her dupes and her weapon dupes, she will be obviously on tier 0, since in my opinion she can already put out a good amount of damage at 0 dupes. On max dupe, she is just insane, and I already put out some pretty good numbers like a 130k ultimate and stuff like that. So at max dupe, she is really good, but that is kind of expected for an S rank character that is max dupe. Now for the other 2 characters that would go up 1 tier if they have 1 dupe in it, that would be Sakuri and Xingwan. Sakuri is a just unfair character for AoE content with all her AoE control abilities like her E and her ultimate. Also, her attack buff is just insane even in boss fight where she cannot even pull the enemy down because it only works in non-boss enemies. Without a dupe, she might not be S tier, but she still will be on 0.5/A+ tier, so she is a really strong character, especially for support because of her attack buff, her AoE control, and her overall damage. Then we have Xingwan. She's a really strong sub DPS at 0 dupes, but with her first dupe she can actually heal just as much as a healer would. So instead of running a healer, if you have a Xingwan at 1 dupe, you can just run Xingwan and have a healer that also deals a really decent amount of damage, and normally both of them at 0 dupes would be more of a sub DPS character. Now for the 0.5 tier, the first character that belongs here is Bai Xing. Bai Xing is an incantation DPS character that can deal huge amount of AoE and single target damage. He has basically a domain expansion as an ultimate where you can even save yourself from a fatal hit once, and overall his damage output is really good, AoE and single target. That is why he belongs in 0.5 tier. He's just a little bit behind Nanali. The next character is Hater. She's Lakshana DPS and similar to Bai Xing in terms of her damage output. At least I think those 2 are pretty much at the same level. The only thing I could see is that Bai Xing's rotations are way more safe and way more comfortable to play, because sometimes, especially her skills sometimes just goes into nothing, especially if the enemy is moving a little bit, so that could be a little bit of a downside. But at least for me, I really don't see a huge gap or even a really medium gap between those 2 characters, and that is why they belong into 0.5 tier. The next character in this tier is Haniel. She's an attack buffer that scales off attack, so natural she comes also with a bit of damage. Especially if you can get enough ult charge on her, she will be really strong because you can get a lot of ults from her and so a lot of attack buff for the whole team. And since she is a 4-star character, you can easily get some dupes for her that will make her even stronger. The next character is the main MC. He belongs in A tier plus, especially if you get all his dupes. I'm not sure how long it takes to get the main MC at max dupe, but if you do, you can get some healing out of him, and then the main character is actually a pretty good option for some teams since you have a good amount of damage and also some healing. Now let's go over the tier 1 characters, and the first one is Daffodil. Yes, she got nerfed and I still believe she is still a great character. Yes, the nerfs did hurt her quite a bit, but I don't think that changed her strength that much. But I do believe on boss fights she is better than tier 1. I would rather put her on tier 0.5, and especially if Lacrimosa comes out, she might even be better than she is right now. I think she is slightly worse in non-boss fight scenarios, but she is still a really good character. Next character, we have Adler. Adler is a shield character that also deals a decent amount of damage. He's easy to build and to play. The only really downside for him is that his shield has a time limit, but other than that, he is a really solid character. Then we have Mint. Mint is actually a pretty good character if you want to play a Nima DPS character and you don't have Xingwan or Nanali. Can she hold her own against Hater and Shiz by Xing Nanali? I don't think so, but it's still not a terrible character, and she's playable, and that is pretty solid. Her damage is just okay, I would say. Nothing at some levels as, you know, by Xing or Nanali, but if you really want to play her, you can easily do that and don't be too much behind. The last character in this tier is Fadia. Fadia isn't your ordinary healer, but she's still really great. She might be a bit more difficult to get everything out of her, but despite that, she is still a good character, especially for a more healing character. She also does good damage, and her increasing the max HP of your team by 10% by just being in a team is also good. So if you get Fadia, she is a great character. Now for the last two characters is Skia and Edgar. Those two are just, they don't do a lot, and what they do, they don't do it really good in my opinion. We have Skia, his damage is just okay in my opinion, and his kit is really selfish. You can still use him, yes, for maybe a certain reaction or if you just like him a lot. And for Edgar, he's just a healer and that's it. And as of right now, there isn't any content where you need to run a healing character, especially a character that only heals. And yeah, and that's why those two are at tier 2. Now for Hotori and Lacrimosa, I cannot say anything as of right now, but if I can, I will be updating this tier list or even do a separate video for those two. And that's it with my tier list. I hope I could help you out. If you don't agree with something, please let me know in the comments so we can talk about it. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care and see you guys in the next one.